Someone announced their resignation, Reid fired this week Kenneth Marcus, a career Israel lobbyist and Trump's administration's top civil rights enforcer at the US Department of Education, was resigned, spelt F-I-R-E-D. And over the 2 years since his appointment, Marcus inspired Israel lobby groups to file complaints to the Office for Civil Rights under Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And the complaints typically claim that universities have failed to protect Jewish students by not cracking down on Palestinian solidarity activism. Of all the things that are going on, and that's all they focus on something that's going on 7,000 to 8,000 miles away. And this strategy was pioneered by Marcus himself before he was picked to lead the US government's office and allowed to adjudicate them himself. All very like the police that let's investigate ourselves. No doubt he was appointed by Kushner. It said, to this end, Marcus gave the Zionist Organization of America, they're not my words, they're theirs, special treatment in reopening a complaint against Rutgers University, according to evidence that was gathered by 9 civil servant right groups, including Palestine Legal. Marcus prioritized Zionist Organization of America's complaint over more than 400 other open appeals, including nearly 80 that had been pending for longer than 10 years, according to the records obtained by the civil rights group. And in May, those groups called on the Inspector General's office at the Department of Education to investigate Marcus over violations of federal law. Further evidence of that group being menacing to this country. Final piece before the music break. And this is another one of our solutions, and is Intel based. There is clearly a serious issue going on within the White House currently. And let's assume Trump is not connected to a faction. Now, there is certainly some evidence that supports he is, and possible ties with the Black Sun Group, but there's also evidence it's not concrete. But his links with BlackRock and Kushner leaves him wide open. But for the sake of this piece, we will assume he is not. Now, one of the biggest issues both Kim, the trustee, and myself, working closely with her, have found out over the past 4 to 5 years is the chronic lack of knowledge of the old system, who its players are, its organizations, how it operated, and now how it's collapsing. This is even prevalent in both the Rothschilds and Black Sun groups as well, portrayed as enemies, and yet neither see themselves as being both sides of the same coin. And these two factions are in every group that was named in our From Russia with Love 8B show. It was designed that way so they win, or so they thought. But two groups fighting for control means one has to lose. And this is what they're both struggling with right now, particularly the Rothschilds camp. And the Black Sun, it must be said, are not the lesser of the two evils, believe it or not. but it is true. And what is playing out publicly now is the dance of the two evils. And so Trump is isolated in the White House due to various agencies, military and corrupt politicians operating in and around him, all of which are connected to Israel, Rothschilds, and all the Black Sun groups. He has very few or no one touting for America and its people. It's always the interests of Israel and the globalists. But there's another powerhouse on this planet, not just the Rothschilds and the Black Sun. It's called the Trust. And Trump is more than aware of it due to several personal interactions by him and Kim and some of the team, and yet curiously he never mentions it. Now, I have spent many hours, and Kim even more, doing everything to help Mr. Trump, whether it's plans, proposals, new bills, financial or banking changes. And he's also been given extensive access to higher security clearance files that are not normally allowed to any sitting president. So what has been forgotten here is there are three powerhouses fighting for control of this planet, only one of which is fallen by the people, and the other two are represented within the White House. So here is my proposal and also solution to address the imbalance and lack of knowledge exhibited within those so-called corridors of power, most of which is not their fault, as everything was compartmentalized on steroids. My solution is Mr. Trump employs within the White House at least two representatives of the trust, one of which is the trustee. I personally will offer my knowledge and support should it be required. And I also come loaded with solutions to fix this country once and for all, and subsequently improve conditions for many other countries as well. Now, between us and maybe one or two others connected to the trust, we can provide genuine solutions and support to Mr. Trump and the American government, and also redress the imbalance of having no representatives of the trust within the White House. It would not be a permanent position, as I think with genuine understanding and direction, many of the issues in this country can be corrected within a 3 to 6 month time period, provided we have the enforcement and protection to go with it. To Mr. Trump, do you really want to make America great again? How will you do that without the assets to support it, when all the assets are held by the trust, not Rothschilds or the Black Sun? You promised to make America great again. This is your only genuine and real opportunity to do so. You can be the hero and fix things once and for all, or be the Nero and watch this country crash and burn on your watch, which is exactly what clowns like Kushner are setting you up to be.